Welcome everyone to episode 31 of the draft. Tonight we'll be drafting our teams for the Mobil 1301 at New Hampshire, the first race in the round of 12 in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. I'm joined as always by Phil Eastman, Tino Patino. Phil, straight from the hockey rink. The dedication is unmatched. Really appreciate it. We'll start with you. We'll do a quick recap of last week. How'd you like the Bristol race? How'd you do? And tell us what you got going on behind you there.
Yeah, Bristol race was not great to me from a gambling standpoint. Last week was a little wonky for me, just like, we had a work conference. That's why I missed the draft. So just like, wasn't on my A game. Enjoyed it though. I thought it was entertaining. A lot of stuff going on in the race itself. So as a fan, I had a lot of fun watching it on Saturday night. Very happy with the way the draft unfolded. Had my guy Chris from Flag Hunting Pod come in. He is now batting 2 for 3 this season. Amazing record for me. And so, yeah, happy with the way that unfolded for sure. This week, I am here at the hockey rink because I've got our team is on a bit of a magical run, and now we're in the championship game. No business being here, but here we are. And I couldn't miss back-to-back weeks when I have a chance to take the lead here. I'm a half game back. So very happy to be in this point, but maybe I should have just let Chris do it because he's so good at coming in hitting homers off the bench. So it's nice to have him in my back pocket for sure. So thank you to Chris. Hopefully I don't need him for the rest of the year, but if I do, I'm not hating about it because he's been awesome this year.
Yeah, what a bat to bring in off the bench. You're trying to win everything nowadays. Look at you. In the championship game, half game out on Tino, who's been leading all year. Tino, how you feeling? How'd you like the race last weekend? How'd you do?
Doing well, feeling great. I got luckily had a little C-Bell action. Talked about him on the draft, talked about him on a couple shows. He was not my first play. That was Blaney, and rightfully so, right? He looked very dominant during that race. But for the race itself, it was awesome to see the tire wear. I mean, like, I'll say from a perspective of people maybe saying it's too much, it's like, what do you want? Like, this is that. I feel like everyone was asking for it. We got it. It was like the spring race, maybe a little less chaotic because teams knew if it were to happen, how to handle that. I thought that was cool. I thought one thing that was crazy to me was the fact that a lot of the drivers said they didn't expect it to wear at all. And then it just started going crazy. So I was happy to see tire wear mixed with playoff elimination race, mixed with Tino winning some bets there. Overall, didn't win the draft, but I like to keep it a little exciting, right? This is a big weekend here. New Hampshire race weekend. We got Phil in the contention to potentially, surpass me for the points lead. And Ryan, hey, if you rattle off a few in a row, you're right back in it as well. I got
Trying.
faith.
I'm trying my hardest. It's been a while. It's been a long time now. I feel like you guys have crushed me for about a good month here at least. So we'll see. Trying to get back on the board. Bristol, yeah, we had tire wear. I thought one of the coolest things in that race was Blaney's battle to win stage one. Not only because we had a bet to win, and that was an extremely fun sweat with the Nuke the House guys, but man, it was just cool. Stage one I thought was awesome. I know the tires were falling apart, and people did say, hey, this isn't tire wear, this is tires failing. But I don't know. I'd rather that than what we watched the last two times out. So give me that every single time. Was able to hit Bell 9-1 live with the Nuke the House boys too. So that was fun as well to see that come home. Overall, just a fun racing weekend. And now we move on to the round of 12. So, Phil, we're going to kick it to you quick for a quick race preview here for New Hampshire.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'll try to be quick here, but there's a lot of talk. There's a lot to talk about with New Hampshire. Start by saying it's the last short flat track of the year, not including Martinsville. It's a 1.058 mile track. Stage breaks this weekend are 70 for stage one, 115 for stage two, and 116 for stage three. So stage two and three pretty much the same. Track stats. I wanted to bring this up because I find that this is pretty interesting. So we usually talk about where the winner starts from, and 53 races, All right. Winner started on the pole 6 times. Last time it happened was Kyle Busch in 2017. Starting inside the top 5, it's only been 32% of the time, which is wild compared to these other tracks, and only 54% of the time starting inside the top 10. Actually, starting outside the top 20, the winner has started there 11 times. So that's like just around 20% of the time. Now, the caveat here is that in 3 next-gen races, the winner has started inside the top 5 all 3 times, 3 for 3. And as well as manufacturer trends, Toyota, 3 for 3 in the next-gen car. Then the other thing to mention is Chevy is just kind of out to lunch when we come here. The only Chevy driver to win in the last 18 races was Kevin Harvick. And, that was a million years ago. Before that, it was Casey Kane. So long time for Chevy. The others, you could see getting there to victory lane. And then the last thing I'll mention here from a preview standpoint is, the Goodyear notes. We had run these tires at Bowman Gray, North Wilkesboro, both non-points paying races, Martinsville and Richmond. So Richmond obviously being important. And there was a tire test with Bell, Chastain, and Logano back in July. So take that for what it's worth. And most importantly, this is Sean McBride and Sam Hall's home track. So, we gotta mention that.
The boys.
The Tino. When was that?
That was last year. I believe. Yeah, because that was right before it started pouring on us. Phil mentioned the rain. We had to, we didn't have to leave, but it didn't look like it was getting any better. There he is in the chat, Sean McBride. So paying homage to the boys. Can't be there this weekend, unfortunately. Special wedding weekend for my sister and the fam. But we'll be locked into the draft. We'll be locked into the race, and looking forward to it. So and then Sean McBride, it was his not his first race, second race, but his first race at New Hampshire was a couple years ago, and it was our first time bringing our own drinks. So glad we were able to capitalize on that this time. Yeah, last time there.
Good. So I don't want to give away too much too early, but it might be a good night for Sean to tune in here with how these picks are going to go. So, all right. Speaking of the picks, let's get into a great preview by Phil there. What we'll do, we're going to draft one driver from every team you see on the left here, including a big 3 pick. That'll be another pick from Hendricks, Joe Gibbs, or Penske. We'll pick a best of the rest, which is a driver from any team not listed on the left there, and then a wild card can be any driver from any team that you haven't selected yet. We'll use the NASCAR point system for the race to score the race, and the winner will pick a charity that Win the Race will donate to. Win the Race this week donated to, for Chris and Phil's win, to the East Tennessee Foundation. Saw Eric, you stepped down there, promoting some of that. It's for the disaster relief in Tennessee. So we donated there. It was a new one. We haven't done it yet. So glad we could, get that one on the board for us there. And again, congrats to Phil on his victory and Chris for being the mega pinch hitter here off the bench. So good job, Chris. And looking forward to, I don't want to see Phil to go, but we'll look forward to the next time you're on. Try to do an end of the year show and get Greg and Chris on here and do something fun. So, all right, let's get into the draft then, boys. We're going 23-11 to kick things off here. I'm going to pull up the draft board. There we go. And Tino, let's start with you this week. 23-11. Who do you got here for New Hampshire?
All right. Well, this is always a fun one to lead it off. Shout out to our guy, Daniel Cespedes, as well. Perfect timing for updating his list on the team head-to-heads, which we already mentioned earlier on this year. Perfect for what we do here on the draft. And I got a note. Corey Heim last weekend did get the highest finishing result there. Picking him would have been insane. Kind of wish I did it. But I went with Bubba Wallace, I believe, last weekend, and that's who I'm going to go with again here in this one. He does have, for those interested, 13 wins over Tyler Reddick's 12. So at this point of the year, 13 over 12. So at this point of the year, it's looking like Bubba just continuously is able to come through, especially on these short tracks. So that's sort of where my head's at for Bubba. I believe Tyler Reddick had a strong showing here last year. He did with a 6th place finish, actually back-to-back 6th places. But to me, I just feel like Bubba's been way too strong on the shorts to ignore him here this season, this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you right there. I'll go Bubba Wallace as well. It's to the point now where are we really shocked if we see Bubba Wallace qualify really well like he does. But then he's finding his way to the front and leading laps a bunch of places now, or up at least running up front. But the leading laps thing has really stuck out to me. Even if it's within a pit cycle or whatever, like he's up there, so he can gain some laps led. And if he has a good pit stop, he comes out and he ends up battling for the lead. I just think this team's firing on all cylinders. Great pit crew. If we do see some tire wear like we saw at Richmond, I love Bubba and I love how that pit crew operates. So um, he's fifth in our true performance scores and win the race in this package in 2025. He's got a high finish of third here in the Gen 7 era at New Hampshire. So yeah, give me Bubba. I really can't find anything bad to say about him. And that's not to say I don't like Reddick this week. I think Reddick can be strong too, but I got to go with Bubba here. And another crazy thing, how does Corey Heim not have a full-time ride for next year? Insane sport that we all enjoy so much. Phil, who do you got for 2311?
I would love to be able to be different here. Early in the season, I think, if they're looking at us here in the future, we're kind of like, what the hell? But I can't be different. Somebody said it in the chat. Reddick seems like he's just MIA. Zach, Team 54 said it. It's true. And, he's 2-1 head-to-head, back-to-back sixth-place finishes at New Hampshire. That should get you excited. That should get me to be like, yeah, I'm going to pivot off above it because you guys are different here. But I can't because of what Tyler Reddick has done this season on the short flats. I'm looking at 4 of them, Phoenix, Iowa, Gateway, and Richmond. And he's not, doing anything as far as finishing races on any of those tracks. So I can't touch it. I actually, on my podcast, talked about a Bubba top 10. I mean, and we've talked about this for a couple different drivers. He's just good everywhere. He's got the momentum. And, you before the show, Ryan, we're talking about how Richmond's, a big race that we want to focus on. Bubba Wallace was awesome at Richmond before, he had that tire issue. The tire popped off on pit road. So he should be one to watch for sure. 2 top 10s already at this racetrack. Last year, he was running top 15-ish before getting caught up in something. So it's not to say that he can't, do something here. I like him for a top 10, and I like him to win this team.
Yeah, you mentioned those finishes too from Reddick. I actually did look at that earlier. And in this package, it's only 4 races, but his average finish is better than only 8 full-time drivers. So it's just been a rough go.
Something's
He
up.
hasn't ran like that, though. Like you look at his true performance, it's actually top 10 for me, but he just, for one reason or another, I mean, the team just can't get finishes, like you said. So, and yeah, awesome point with Bubba at Richmond as well.
I like
All right.
that Lee said here in the chat. Lee Norton said that someone should tell Lee Diffie that Bubba's name isn't Bubber. So that was funny. And then Cam Law also saying Bubba going all the way. I think he can make, if he has a strong round, it may be like obvious to say, but this is the thing. Bubba's great at stacking points. He's done it all year long. If he can do that and capitalize on Kansas, in which he's won at, he can actually make it to the round of 8. What do you have in the round of 8? Talladega. Boom, he's in championship 4. So there's a real strong chance that could happen.
Well, what's crazy with him is like I don't really care where they go now. Like, but with the exception of a road course, like I just think Bubba's going to be, if he's out there leading, I'm just not even surprised. Mile and a half, short track, either of those packages. Road course is really the only one where I'm surprised if he's out there leading a race. So, been a great run for Bubba.
3-1 still to make the championship 4 on Caesars. I placed that bet earlier today. And I could be wrong. Don't kill me if I am, but I think the Roval is his best road course. I know it's a low bar, but I'm pretty sure he does better there than the others. So he's a factor, just as a sneaky pick, especially because they're all bunched together in points right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that'll be awesome. And Toyota's good here. We know that. So you'd mentioned that. Toyota, Fords. Speaking of Fords, we'll hop right into front row then. Not like we think, these Ford guys are going to win the race here, but we still got to talk to them and pick one. And it's typically just the bane of our existence every week. But I'm going to lead this off then. I'll go with Zane Smith. I always try to be a little different, but I got just something to say about Zane Smith here. And it's what was said last week and why he was picked last week. He's the guy getting finishes. You look at Richmond too, same tire, finished 11th in that race. Look at last week. top tens last week. Different package, whatever. But still, if you look over the last 15 races, his average finish is over 5 spots higher than the next person on his team. So Gilliland and Gregson just aren't getting it done. In that 15 race span, 3 top tens for Zane Smith, so a little bit of upside. Only 1 for Gilliland, none for Noah. Give me Zane here. Phil, I'm going to jump right back to you. What do you got?
Yeah, Zane Smith's my pick. Absolutely my pick. I was on the edge of my seat last week cheering for him. That was awesome. So he's my pick. No more stats to add to it. I don't think we need to beat a dead horse. The only thing I'll say is there is a small contingent of drivers that are outperforming their equipment. And if silly season, like some of these drivers are lucky they're locked into contracts, because if this was a wonkier silly season, guys like Zane and a couple other drivers that I may talk about later would be like high price free agents. We'll leave it at that. He's playing, or he's driving really well right now.
Yeah, I agree. Tino, what do you got here for front row?
Zane Smith, everything you guys said, and specifically just in honor of his performance last week. Even if he finished 30th in all of his races, which honestly he did finish 30th in this race last year. But if Zane Smith was just bad at New Hampshire, I would still pick him this week because of how he was last weekend. And I have to note, 14 of the times this season he's been outperforming Todd Gilliland and Noah Gragson from the picks perspective here.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Now we get to a team, we always say anyone in this team can win this week, but now we get to New Hampshire. Phil mentioned it. Chevy struggles a little bit. So, Phil, I'm going to let you lead this one off. Who's your Hendricks pick for this week?
I might be different here, and that's okay. I'd be happy if I am. I'm going with Chase Elliott this week. I think that he is the best of the Chevy drivers coming into this race. I got him at 22-1 on Caesars, where he was way shorter on other books earlier. And on my podcast, if you give it a look, I pretended that I was the crew chief of the 9 team, and I gave them a little pep talk. I'll give you a little preview right now. It's time. Okay, they've been good all year, but they haven't been race winning. They've bided their time. They've gotten to this round of 12. Everyone's bunched together. This is where you can't falter. And the ones that step up are the ones that thrive and go on to win, championships. This is their time. They've done everything to this point, points-wise, the right way, and now it's time to step up. And this is a great racetrack for them.
You need to run this back for your hockey team before the game starts.
Yeah.
I got a speech ready for those boys too. Don't worry. I'm mouthy tonight.
All right, good.
So you look, he finished second in 2022. His average finish is 10.7. That's 6th out of everyone. 4th in driver rating in next gen at New Hampshire. That's pretty damn good when you're looking at the list of drivers here. He's sneaky good here. And in 2025, on the short flats that I care about, he's 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 10th, 14th, 38th at Richmond, which was a weird race. So I'm kind of like discrediting that a little bit for his finish there. And then 3rd at Gateway, the last time we were on a short flat. I know that, Brian, you were mentioning it, you're not really considering Gateway, I don't believe. But still, if you look at the tire situation, Bowman Gray, great. You know what I mean? Like that's he knows what he's doing there. So this to me is a situation where Chase is ready. And if you're not going to step up here, right, I don't see a race winning opportunity at Kansas. I don't see the Roval really doing it for them. He was battling last year with Bell at the first stage. Like he had something for Bell to start the year or to start the race last year. So I'm all in on Chase this week for my Chevy and Hendrick drivers here. Right, I ran out of gas there. Sorry.
No, that's cool, man. Don't use it all before your game tonight. Save something. This might just seem like the most basic pick there is. But I go Kyle Larson here. And real basic information, why? With HMS, he's got finishes of 7, 14, 3rd, and 4th at New Hampshire. In his 14th, he finished stage 1 and stage 2 inside the top 5. So it's not like he wasn't running up front all day. Top 10 finishes in half of his 14 career races here. And in half, most of those are top 5s. They're not just like he's squeaking in the top 10. They're what I just mentioned, 3rd, 4th, all that stuff. So I think he's kind of sneaky, like you said with Elliott, like because people are off of Chevy this week. It's like I don't know, what if they show up fast? It wouldn't really surprise me if any of these four guys any week. I don't think it'd surprise anyone show up and kind of have something for the leaders. So give me Kyle Larson here. Tino, who do you got?
Yeah, well, Phil, you got the chat fired up. Zach Team 54 is ready to run through a brick wall. Cam Law's ready to throw the house on Chase Elliott. I could probably tell you the only person in the entire world that probably isn't fired up from your speech is Chase Elliott himself, because he doesn't really have too much emotion there. That's why I'm going Kyle Larson as well. Everything Ryan said, but I'm fired up. I'm ready to see. You gotta. Hey, this is the time. This is the point during the show that maybe we convince you to leave your phone or laptop on, put it right next to the glass, and let's see you rock and roll out there, lay some bodies out. How about that?
Yeah.
Everybody has a live phone account. You can log in.
Okay.
All right, now we get to a team, and I think for Joe Gibbs, we're probably going to be a clean sweep across the board. I'm going to just say some stats about my pick, and you guys can tell me if you're going elsewhere. But Christopher Bell, the obvious overall favorite here, every sports book you're going to look at, and every show you're going to listen to. Some crazy New Hampshire Bell stats. His only loss here in Xfinity or trucks was the first time he ever raced in trucks, and he lost to William Byron. So that's a pretty respectable loss. And when he lost, he came in second. So he finished only behind William Byron. Comes back in 2017, beats everyone. Goes to Xfinity in 2018, beats everyone. 2019, beats everyone. Goes to the Cup Series. 2021, beats everyone. 2024, beats everyone. So we'll just say he started 23rd in that race too, so he just blew through the field, won the race. Cup Series, finished second, won the race. Finished 29th, won the race. In his 29th, finished both stages inside the top 10. Again, a finish not indicative of how he ran that race. Can we say that Christopher Bell's the best racer at Loudon of all time? Like, his stats are better than anyone. So I don't know. Like, he's unbelievable here. To me, he's got to be the pick, hands down, no questions asked. Are you guys with it?
Go ahead, Tino.
I am with it. The only thing that hesitated me there for a second was because Zach said, we know how that turned out last weekend, right, boys? In which Team 54 just ended up dominating. And I also wanted to say, while I'm on it, everything you said is correct. I think he is going to be the greatest Loudon New Hampshire Motor Speedway. They'll probably they might name it to Christopher Bell Motor Speedway after it's all said and done. Because, like you said, it's insane that those are his stats. But another thing I wanted to mention, because I'm on Christopher Bell, or one of these comments here. First up, Easton said, sorry, missed last week's live. No worries at all. He went to a rodeo. Was it your first rodeo? Rodeo pun. But he still watched it after last week. So I appreciate that, Easton. And he followed up with, is Joe Gibbs Racing a real threat this year to win the championship? And should we start to be concerned about Hendrick Motorsports as it comes to their championship chances? So since we're on JGR right now, I figured I'd bring that up and say, yes, they're a real threat. And Christopher Bell is the reason why. And Chase Briscoe as well. I'd say Denny is also, but it's always Denny's year until it's not. I would say Christopher Bell is the main reason why I think the championship could be won by that team. Briscoe's a frisky play as well. And then when it comes to Hendrick Motorsports, I would wait until after Kansas to see if I'm concerned personally. But I figured I'd throw that one out there since we're talking about JGR right now.
I think when we get to Phoenix and we're scoring everyone in the race, I think we're going to have those Toyotas and the Penske Fords ahead of the Hendricks guys. That's just how it's going to turn out. I don't see a way we think that they're better than those guys. You just say there's no championship. Just say they all get there. We're just scoring the race like usual. We wouldn't have any of those guys above those three Toyotas and the two Fords. Logano, you might, but not if he's in the championship race, because then it's just something new. So they find some speed that I don't know what they do, but they win every championship.
If you're looking for a bonus point too, as Brian just pointed out, Bell made sure he was the Toyota representative to test here earlier this year. Like, you didn't need any further point to go with Bell, and he still gets the tire test, which to me is a very, very big thing. At least we've seen that play a factor at times this year and last year with the tire test.
Totally agree. He tested at Phoenix before too, and then won that race. So, it's not like he needs extra help. but he's got some extra track time. So, Phil, it looks like you might want to pivot. What are you thinking?
No, I don't. I can't pivot. I'm just thinking, it's got to be Christopher Bell. The only thing that has me half-assed on this is we kind of felt the same way about Larson last week. Like we waited till Bristol night race for Larson. Larson's going to dominate. He's going to dog walk, and he was a bag of shit. And all year talking about the one and done pool, it's like, we'll save Bell for Loudon, and I just get nervous about shit like that. So, it's a huge deal for them. Like, and coming off a win too, to win back-to-back races, like it's tough to do. So it makes me a little nervous.
He did win back-to-back this year.
And so because of that, it just, the odds, I don't know.
To do it
the
again
numbers
in the season
go up. Yeah. So it's tough to do. But I have to take them. I can't be different here because I also said earlier on my show, like I'm thinking about maybe doing a little off-season project to see when we have a tire test, how those guys did in the race, like see how that correlates. Cause I think that would be fun. But
for sure.
Got to go Christopher Bell. I'm going to use a second JGR driver in the big three.
All right, cool. Let's let you lead off Penske then. Who do you have in this team?
Penske. Well, it's a coin flip. So I will go with Ryan Blaney.
Wow.
Ryan Blaney is my pick. Look, I'm starting my card with Ford at plus 265. So both Logano and Blaney are part of the reason why I chose that. Kind of the only two reasons, but if you're looking at Blaney, he's second in driver rating in 2025. He's first in speed rating. It's more so this season. I trust Blaney this season. His finishes aren't fantastic at Loudon, but how many times have we talked about that this year, right? Mm-hmm. He is throwing out bad finishes. If he's going to that style track where, this year he's performing really well. And look at what he did at Richmond this season. We were all together for that race. We talked about it before the race. Like, I think it was Chris Worm was talking like, I think he's a top 10 car. We were like, what? And he goes out and does it. And it wasn't fluky. He was able to move through the field on his worst track. So now we're going to a track where he's had some success, and he's 8th in driver rating at New Hampshire, but second on win the race, pre-rankings. I think that, this could be a Ryan Blaney victory if it goes to a Ford. So I know I'm upsetting some folks, but maybe stay tuned.
No, I mean, you're right that, his 25th and 22nd place finishes the last two times out here. If you look further into that, like he was not in stage 1 and stage 2 in both of those races, not outside the top 5. So although the finishes weren't there, I mean, he was a top car. So very strong pick there. I'm also picking Ryan Blaney in this spot. So, I mean, you said it all there. He's number 1 in my true performance scores in the 4 races we have in this package this season. And like you said, when we sim everything out and when I score everything before, he came in second just behind Bell. So I got to go with Blaney here. And again, I guess I don't care about those finishes like you mentioned. I care about where he was running. And I think that the way this team is operating this year, he could maintain that and has some serious ceiling here. So give me Ryan Blaney. Tino, who do you got here?
Well, Big Ross said it best. Mick Bryan's about to have a stroke. He tuned in tonight. We led the show off by saying it was going to be a logs night, a special one for him at his home track. And just like Team 54 says,
not over
Tino's
yet.
About to get another win. To me, he's right. And Sean McBride, stand up, start cheering, pound a drink. It's Logs Weekend. And I can go on and on about why, but Chris already gave me a perfect point in the chat. Let's talk about it here. Chris says, according to the rumors around the garage and at that tire, and keep in mind, this is last week's draft winner, Chris. according to the rumors around the garage, at that tire test, Logano was bad fast. Last time we heard that, North Wilkesboro when he dominated. Brian even saying it. Joey about to win here, and then Vegas, and then Phoenix. Hey, it's mapped out for him as well. And then we don't want to manifest that, but it's just the new meta, as Cam Law is saying in the chat. And maybe not new meta, because we've been talking about it with Phoenix, like you mentioned, North Wilkesboro. That was my main key there. So I do believe Blaney's going to be strong, but I just feel like this is the time. If we're going to go logs, this is the time. And on lap 183, before the rain and chaos started happening last year, Joey Logano was running third. That was third to Denny Hamlin and MTJ at the time. Yep, MTJ. Wow, crazy. That I haven't thought about MTJ in a minute. I was going to say Chase Briscoe. But my point is, Bell was fourth, Blaney fifth. So Blaney was up there. But when you look at those JGR cars and seeing how fast they've been at this track, to see Joey Logano up there and just being as strong as he was very, very exciting to me.
Yeah, and I mean, I alluded to it earlier, and Phil had said it's a coin flip. I totally agree it's a coin flip. And that's why I wanted both guys in my draft, and Joey Logano was written down as the big three all day here. Now, Chris and Brian and people commenting that are on Win the Race know that I've already bet Joey Logano to win this race. So I took it at 11-1. Some people got him like 18 or 20-1 when it opened. I wasn't around for that, unfortunately. But we have it fair at 11, right at 11. And although it's not the value I was looking for, I didn't want to miss out on it. So I'm taking Logano 11-1. Bet it earlier. I don't think it's around anymore. But yeah, everything you said. I had mentioned Blaney, number one in true performance scores in the 4 races in this package this year. Guess who's number one in average finish in those 4 races? Joey Logs. So that's, you got the number one true performance score, Blaney, the number one average finish in this package, Joey Logano, at a track he's awesome at, like you mentioned. He was running second last year. He didn't finish a stage outside the top 3. Then you look at the year before, we don't have all the rain stuff. Starts 4th, finishes 2nd. Like, he's definitely live here. So, and it's time to go. The final race, the championship race, is in this package on a short, flat track. It's go time. You can't really, Martinsville is just not like this at all. This is it. Like, you want to get this thing dialed in. It's like your last go before you're going to get to that championship race. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm all on Joey Logano this week. Love it. And we'll go right back to Tino then. We'll let Phil close this one out. So, Tino, who's your big 3 pick?
Oh, okay. I got a couple options here. I'm thinking, let's see what Zach's got to say for me to buy me some time. T54 saying in the chat, taking Logano for your big 3. Now you either have to use Briscoe as your wild card or risk not getting him, and you don't want to miss Briscoe. I don't want to miss Briscoe either, so I'll take Chase Briscoe right now. Thank you very much, Team 54. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Similar to how we talked about Ryan Blaney this season, how he's been better on the tracks he normally hasn't been good at, or at least stats-wise, he hasn't had the finishes there. That's the same exact thing I'm thinking, and we've been talking about Chase Briscoe. All that stuff does not matter for those 2 drivers this year because it's the equipment they're in, and honestly, a really good strategies on the box for him. We talked, I was like, oh, MTJ was in that car last year, not Chase Briscoe. Second before the rain at this track. And before it was Bell here, it's Martin Truex Jr. When Sean McBride and I were at his first NASCAR race ever, who won it? MTJ. Who's in the 19? Chase Briscoe. Who won the first race of the NASCAR playoffs? Chase Briscoe. Who has a chance to win the first race of the second round of the NASCAR playoffs? Chase Briscoe. So that's what I'm going with. Mustard Rob agrees with me. Let's go Bristol. Easton agrees with me as well. So yeah, I'm glad to see the Chase Briscoe love out there because I think he's going to have a really strong one in being just all he has to do is be in that 19 car and he makes it go faster.
Oh, yeah. Phil, what you got?
Briscoe's my pick. And I didn't want to fuck up the aesthetic of the board, but I really wanted to throw Briscoe in as my JGR pick. But it keeps it nice and even to have C-Bell up there.
Nice.
But I needed Briscoe, just like Zach said. I took Briscoe 8-1. That's on FanDuel and Bet Rivers. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it seems good to me when you look at the fact that, we talk about MTJ comparing to, how Briscoe's been running. The momentum for Briscoe is crazy. Like they are just good everywhere. We say it every week, but now we're arriving at a track where MTJ wasn't just good, he was great. And when we've seen that this year, Briscoe comes out a lot of times with victory. So just to reiterate, in the 3 next-gen races, there's only one driver that has finished in the top 10 all 3 times, and that's Martin Truex Jr. Wow. And Chase Briscoe wasn't that bad in the dog shit equipment at Stewart-Haas. He had a 9.0 average finish with 1 top 5, 2 top 10s at Stewart-Haas. So that is scary. Like, if I'm Christopher Bell and you're thinking like, oh, I'm the guy here, wake up. Like, look at the guy down, a couple desks down from you here, C-Bell, because this guy is going to be an absolute threat this weekend. And Tino said it best. He started off the playoffs with a win. He could easily lock himself into the round of 8 this weekend. So if they better keep their eyes open.
Point, they were thinking ahead. I think if that team, after they won that first race at Darlington, I think, okay, eyes forward, next round, what tracks do we have? Circle this one, we move forward. And I really feel like, as Liam pointed out here, and as Phil mentioned in the race preview, winners are 3 for 3 who start in the top 5, if I have that correct. Chase Briscoe is the pole master. Like that's really all we need. I'm sure he's going to qualify up front, run up there. The number one thing I love about Briscoe recently too is wherever he starts is where he's able to finish, if not better. And that, I love a top 5, I love a top 3, and I love him to win. So I might be taking them all this weekend for Briscoe.
Nice. All right, let's Tino, why don't we stick with you then? Go ahead and lead off RFK.
All right, so this is a great point here because I love everyone appreciate all the comments tonight. You guys are flooding it. It's making the show awesome, as it always is. And one of them that I wanted to bring up when we got to this driver I'm about to mention is from Keith. He's been waiting to place his bet winner parlay with a long shot top 10. Any suggestions? He talked about maybe an Eric Jones, but the driver I'm going to give you, I don't know if he's necessarily a long shot. Pulling up the odds as I continue to talk. It's going to be Ryan Preece plus 250 for a top 10. I don't know if that's long enough for you, but he's the driver I'm picking at his home track to go out there and have a strong run. Going to be Ryan Preece here for RFK. And I feel like he's been having strong finishes here with the lesser equipment he's been in, a 28th, but then an 11th, which is great. I'm sure maybe that came after the wet weather and everything like that. But if there's a time where he's going to outperform Brad and Chris Buescher, it's going to be at this track. Brad's another strong option to me, but I feel like I couldn't ignore Preece going back to the home track and everything like that.
Nice. Yeah, can't argue that. I always love a good home track story here too. And this is where we like to target Preece on the short flat. So that's awesome. My pick was pretty basic here. Brad Keselowski. I mean, it's just someone who I think understands Loudon with the best of them. In his career, 24 races here. He's got top 10 finishes in almost 70% of those races. A 7th and a 5th in his first 2 Gen 7 races here. Last year, a little, wonky with some circumstances, the rain and stuff like that. But there's nothing left for him to do this season but to go out and play spoiler. Same thing with his whole team. I mean, that's their job here. And so we're seeing him show up all the time the second half of this season. It's a shame that he had such bad luck to start the year, because it'd be so much fun if Brad was, contending right now or in the playoffs or at least made the round of 16. Because this second half he's always up there. Was up there again last week. I mean, he's just there. Team's figuring it out. I love him if the tires do wear. That's where I really like Brad as well. So yeah, I think he can get some good points here. Phil, who do you got here for RFK?
Yeah, I'm not going to mess around or shift around. I had Brad as well. 2 top 10s at this racetrack. Historically, he's been good here back in his Penske days. So this is a driver that, it is sad to see. But if you look at his season this year, 3rd place at Iowa, a 6th place starting position at Richmond, and he finishes 9th. Like, that's a good run for them. And, if you're using Richmond as a pretty good comp, that's good for this 6 team. So I'm going with Keselowski as well.
Awesome. All right, let's go. Let's think of the order here. We're going to jump to Spire. I think we're going to start with me, and we'll just kind of snake it back because Tino, I believe, gets you get the last pick. The leverage pick
Oh,
goes to Tino this week.
yes.
So, all
My
right.
favorite.
So we'll go. I'll start here with Spire. I mean, mine's going to be pretty obvious here. I'm going to pick this guy until he wins. I'm just going to pick Carson Hocevar. Finds himself up near the front all the time. I know this is a great leverage spot for you guys if you want to, because I know it doesn't work out for him too often. We're playing a points game here. I just still think he can win this year. 15th at Richmond, came in 8th at Iowa before that. And then when we sim everything out here, it's not just my stuff that goes in there. So there's no bias really. It's just kind of what we look at, everything overall. We had him simmed out minus 211 over Haley, minus 180 over McDowell. That really stuck out to me. So I'm just going to pick Hocevar here and hope that our hard work pays off and he can finally get a finish. Phil, who do you got?
It's Hocevar. And I fully expect Hocevar to finish top 15 because if you're looking at, what he's done this year, first of all, last year at this racetrack where he finished 17th, right? So that's putting him like right there. Mm-hmm. And what he's done so far this year, he's got a 36th at Phoenix. Okay, throw that out. But he started 3rd in that race. Great. 8th, 15th, 15th. 3 out of 4 finishing inside the top 15. And a top 15 wins this team. So Carson Hocevar, like you said, pick him until he wins a race. He's coming on strong.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Tino, who do you got here? You pivoting off Carson?
I can't. I think the Priest was my pivot play. I can't risk that here for the Hocevar. And as we mentioned, he's won it 12 times. McDowell's won this team 10. And to Haley's 7. Hey, shout out Justin Haley for winning this team 7 times. Never would have guessed that at any point this year. But you guys said it best. He's been fast. He's been strong. He's got a shot. And I'll give credit to our boy Zach with great updates in the chat. He's worth noting another driver who's on a hot streak and should win. That's Team 54 himself. So both those guys are running hot right now.
Nice. All right, Tino, you are up here for best of the rest. Keep it with you. We're going to snake it back, and then you get the ultimate leverage to end the show.
Oh, ultimate leverage. That's what I like to hear. The closer. Well, if we're talking about closers, can Ross Chastain be a closer for you guys? He is for me. He's going to be my best of the rest. This is a spot where I always take Josh Berry, and it always goes wrong. And Ross Chastain was one of those drivers that was in the tire test. We've mentioned throughout the show how important that is. Might as well listen to my own advice. And has just been running strong here. 11th in terms of average finishes in the next gen era amongst all drivers at this track. In the last 3, he has an 8th, a 23rd, and a 10th. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a top 10 finish out of Ross Chastain. I think he can get it. I think he's a sneaky driver to advance out of this round. One at Kansas, which is coming up next. Always nice on a good road course. And right now where he sits, he's below the cut line. So this is an opportunity for them to be aggressive, get those stage points. And if you're getting stage points, you're getting points for me in the draft.
Phil, what do you got here?
Man, I am my head's in a pretzel here because there's so many guys you could take. Chastain is definitely someone that I had on my radar. I'm going to go. I know I'm so close to the top of the mountain right now, but I'm going to go a little crazy here in best of the rest. I have 3 different guys that have not been chosen on my piece of paper. I'm going to go with John Hunter Nemechek. That is an insane pick.
This worked for you before, didn't it?
It has worked for me before. And if you could, Ryan, put a little John H in there. There you go.
I don't know. I don't know why I just wrote Nemechek. I have the first and last name of everybody up here.
It's superstitious, but look, this could lose me the draft. I'm fully aware of that because this is a guy that if he finishes 30th, no one's going to blink an eye. But finished 8th last year at this track. All right. Take that for what it's worth. But I'm more focused on how he's been able to perform this season. And you're looking at the 4 comps. He's got 1 top 10, 3 top 15s on the short flats, 14th, 15th, 36th at Richmond. I can't remember what happened to him in that race. 6th at Gateway just 2 weeks ago. Another short flack that I'm throwing in here. He's been good. He's another one of those drivers that's been good no matter where we go. He's outperforming his equipment. So I'm throwing him into the mix here. I think that John Hunter can get me a top 15. And I think that bar isn't too high. And I also think a top 15, depending on who Ryan chooses here. I mean, Ross Chastain, a top 15, I think top 10 should be his bar, but he's not someone that's an automatic. So I'm not scared of that. I just am more scared of, like, Chastain doesn't scare me. It's John Hunter being able to just stay away from the rest of the guys, do his thing like he's been doing. And I think, a 13th place finish here would make me very happy. And I think puts me in a good position. So taking a swing, but we'll see.
Such a good strategy team too. Like when everyone was doing 2 stops, they did 1 stop, and all they did was gain 20 positions by doing that, and then he maintains it all race. It's like they've just been doing cool stuff like that, which is awesome to see. You're not in the playoffs. Take a swing, try to get up there. Maybe get a late caution. Maybe you can battle to win a race at the end of one of these things. Best of rest, I had it written down all day. Same as Tino here, Ross Chastain. I just like the fact, everything Tino said. I like the fact that he tire tested here. I read a quote too from Chastain, and he was just super grateful he was able to do the tire test there because he knows this isn't one of his strongest race types, and so he was glad he got the extra, time in the car on the track at New Hampshire. But even with that said, I mean, he has 2 top 10s here in the 3 races with Trackhouse. Not bad. It kind of is what it is. Just trying to earn some points here, and this is their last hope. He's the only one in the playoffs now for Trackhouse. All resources go to Ross. He's won at Phoenix before. Again, this is like probably the closest thing you're going to get to Phoenix until we get there. So you got to get this right. Show up fast, figure things out. I like Ross this weekend. So we head into the wild card round. This is where it makes or breaks us. And I think I'm going to be different here because, I know I'm going to be different because I'm not going to take Trace Briscoe for leverage. I'm going to stay inside the same camp and go with Denny.
Wow. And
Denny I had all day for a couple of reasons. I think people are kind of sleeping on Denny here at Richmond. I don't think he's he's not bad here because I think he's awesome here. But I think people think he's just like mediocre for some reason. Like you don't hear any Denny buzz all week long. He was okay at Richmond. His teammate, we mentioned Chris Bell, the absolute GOAT here. The 19 team that you mentioned, they've obviously figured things out and crush here. So why not Denny? Denny's a 3-time winner here. One thing I thought that this is kind of funny. This is not why I'm picking him, but I did find this interesting. He wins his first race here in 2007. It takes him 9 races to win again. Then it takes him 8 races to win again. And now it's been 7 races. He's doing a win. He's going to win.
I love shit like that.
That's just a basic pattern.
I love that you looked that up.
Yes, that's just a basic pattern. So obviously he's going to win. But I don't know, 6th and 7th in his first 2 Gen 7 races here. Had a rough finish last year, but last year he finished stage 1 and 7th and stage 2 and 1st. He didn't have a poor car, just kind of a weird race last year. And of all active drivers with at least 10 races at New Hampshire, he's the only driver with an average finish inside the top 10. So I found that to be interesting. A track where no one's really screaming like this is a Denny track. And I'm not even doing that, but I'm saying of all active drivers with 10 races, he's the only one with an average finish inside the top 10. Just reiterate that. So he is good here. His 3 wins speak for themselves, and that pattern speaks volumes. Phil, you're up.
Real quick, Phil, if you don't mind, I just have to shout out Team 54 in the chat to give you a little give a little suspense here because he mentioned prediction number 1, check. Well, if anyone missed it, he said Chastain should be best of the rest. Yeah, you got that right. Which means Phil may have to cover with Logano, but that means Ryan may have to choose Briscoe or Denny. Check there. So I guess the question here is to Phil, are you covering with Joey Logano?
I commented right after he said that. I said his in-draft analysis is unmatched. First of all, shout out Go Fast Troy, my guy. What's going on? Love to see him in the chat. And I'm at the hockey rink. right? I'm looking at some of my drivers here. I'm seeing a lot of numbers that I used to wear. My first ever hockey number was 6. Brad wore 9 for a tournament team. I wore 20 in college, Penn State. The number I wore most of my life, number 22, baby. Joey Logano. How could I
Oh,
let that go?
nice.
Sean McBride. He
Sean
hasn't
McBride?
commented in 10 minutes.
McBride
He's
gets the
probably gone.
sweep.
But I need to do it. And Zach called it out. He knows what he's doing. He's watched enough of this. He knows how we have to play these. I needed to play defense because if Logano does go out and do this, I can't be left out in the rain. If some of these other guys beat me, fine. But I can't get beat by Logano on one of his best tracks, hometown track type of guy. And, Zach, prediction number 2. So we'll see if Tino brings it home for him.
Awesome. The Logano sweep for Sean McBride. We show his picture on the show. Gets Logano 3 for 3 picks here. Tino, what would you leave Cameron to go do a couple push-ups, get pumped up for this leverage pick?
I did. I in fact, I charged up the laptop. It was bad. I was like, oh, battery low, gonna die. No. We're charged up. We're ready to go here. And go fast, Troy. Look out for Legacy again, and we should. Cam saying Team 54 from the future. So since Team 54 is from the future, that means when Ty Gibbs wins at Bristol next year, spring race, I'll have that locked and loaded. That'll be awesome. And Lee saying maybe his rug will fall off on the front stretch. So, all right, it's time for the leverage play. Time to close things out. 9:22 p.m. Having a great night with the boys. And, I'll bring up one last time Zach's Team 54, what he said here. What does he think I should do? Well, I can either choose Denny, who may have a rough day, or do something interesting. Well, I'm going to do something interesting myself. And I was thinking, 4 races ago, I picked this driver to win. And he did. Now, 3 races ago, or 2 races ago, rather, he finished 4th at We Win Together Raceway. He also finished 4th last weekend at Bristol. And Tino Patino is on a 4 race winning streak. 4. So when I'm thinking about 4, 8, 12, I'm Tino 3. Ryan Blaney! Come on! So I had to follow the patterns there, all the signs, giving me 4 races ago. That was when the Ryan Blaney win streak started. 4th at WWT, 4th at Bristol. And here we are, sitting there with 3 races, 4 wins, locked in. Blaney was strong last week, and you guys picked him as well. So not the craziest leverage move, but to me, I got to go with the guy that's been getting us to this point winning-wise. And it's been the number 12. And when I look at him running in the top 5 of this race around there last year before the rain started, that's what makes me think he can do it here this year.
Yeah, it's funny. Phil said it's a coin flip between Blaney and Logano, and then we all end up with Blaney and Logano. So it's funny how that worked out. That is awesome. What a show. I mean, what a draft. This is great. Got a couple leverage spots in there. 2 of the big Penske guys on every team. Are there any big names? I'm the only one with Hamlin, and you guys both have Briscoe. That's a big one there. And then Kez versus Priest, another big one there too.
And I'm left
fun.
without Larson, which I hate. But
Larson versus Elliott, another.
I made that big to do about Elliott, so he better not let me down.
Yeah, the speech is great, and it'll be Denny versus Briscoe for you and I, Ryan.
Awesome. Well, everyone, thank you so much for commenting, tuning in. It makes it so much fun. All the interaction throughout the show, people doing their own draft analysis of what they would do. Always love that. Team 54, everyone. Brian, thanks for McBride gets to see 3 Loganos. Thank you guys so much. Tino, why don't you tell everyone where they can find all your good work?
Yes, sir. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. My bad. So shout out to everyone in the chat. We got Team 54. Let me get rid of this pick of Sean McBride. Team 54 in the chat. Big Ross, Cam Law, Miami Mike, Go Fest, Troy, Lee, everyone that makes this show what it is. Easton was in the chat. He had his second rodeo. Mustard Rob was in here. everyone that was commenting tonight why it was in here. I saw Brian in the chat. Shout out to them and those boys over there. Chris as well, who got the win in the draft last weekend. Keith was in here. Everyone for commenting means a lot. Phila was in here. Big Ross, I don't know if I mentioned him. If not, he gets another shout out. I think I got you guys. If not, comment. Eric was in here as well. Comment anything that you want before we get out of here. And Go Fresh Troy will be at Kansas next week. I love that. And you can listen to me more. Watch me on Tubi Tino on Friday morning on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. Stay tuned for more content at Tino Patino. And it's going to be a great week. Looking forward to it. Big race weekend. And I'm super excited for what's to come in this draft.
Awesome. Phil, where can everyone find you? And good luck tonight, my friend.
I appreciate it. I'm going to say my goodbyes and close my laptop and head out of here. So, give me a follow at Full Tank Phil, Instagram and X. Full Tank with Phil is the name of the podcast. I appreciate everyone who listens and lets me know who they're on each week, talking shop. And this was a fun draft. I'm excited to see kind of what happens. This is a race where no one can screw up, and someone is going to. So we'll be talking next week about who's in a hole that they didn't want to be in. So thank you guys, and good luck to everyone on the gambling cards. And we'll see you next week for Kansas. And I'm hopefully going to go win a championship. So
hey, lay someone out. Bucks on net. Come on. Win a
I don't think you guys know.
Bill.
People
Let's go.
You can't see, the guys on the chat can't see that I'm like 5'4". I'm not the guy laying people out, but I can dangle a little bit. So we're going to see what we can do.
All right. Good luck.
Right. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you to all our partners you see down below here. Everybody follow every one of them. Really appreciate it. Good luck this weekend. First race of the round of 12, New Hampshire. Going to be a fun one. Thank you, guys. We'll see you same time, same place next week.